up for part three. After saying, I figured out that it's called his name is Crockbot, and yeah, I was wrong about the issue, or that was the master, that was the plan that Tails got. That why he went to basically Mobius version of Australia. By then he leaves, and then you get to see glimpses of oh yeah, in issue two, issue two begins with him back and next to the dot, and then Prince Dolly I know you're angry at Sonic and for not doing the ship thing, not doing the the, the 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 submarine he has is called the Sea Fox. It's sorry we couldn't put oil, you know, and then Tails it's fine. It's and then after she left, she's too tired. It's not fine. Okay, I'm a man. I'm gonna prove it by this by by having destroying Robotnik's plan for Mobius Australia. It's called something else, and then he does that, he gets injured and stuff, and then he meets. And then issue three, he um Knuckles' great grandfather Owl stopping. I don't know. And then he go back home. Yeah. Okay. Wells. Yeah. Then we see glimpses he helps a little bit much more. He doing computer stuff, and then after it's I get the respect I deserve and improve the style. Oh, make sure to brush your take a shower and brush your teeth. No one said that. It was yeah, and then Knuckles mini series, I already talked about the backstory in part one, but when they were on the floating island, his his grandfather was a scientist, and he worked with his brother Dimitri, and Dimitri was so consumed by oh, we could take the energy from the Chaos Emeralds, because turns out they Chaos Emeralds make the island flow, but it's not in the games where it's just one big giant Master Emerald. It's it's multiple medium sized emeralds, and then he destroyed a lot of them by sucking his energy, and then Dimitri becomes an evil Chaos Emerald energy guy. And then in the Knuckles mini series, he comes back from basically a coma, because at the end of the flashback, he he was evil, and he was gonna conquer stuff, but then he got stuff crashed on him, and then in the Knuckles mini series, he awoken from Knuckles' quest to a mountain to get advanced weapons his civilization made, and then you have to versus. That's where you meet the Fire Ant Alba Base, and then you have to beat Dimitri, where he has a new name, L-Jax or stuff in, and he has armor, and it's just an embodiment of a Chaos Emerald. He's oh, I'm gonna kill, I'm gonna rule, but then they send him into space. It's pretty funny. It's oh, we'll never see him again. Yeah, the villain, he's an evil echidna. He also has teleportation powers that he never uses again. He teleported Knuckles and the Fire Ant to a desert. Okay, enough of that. Yeah, in their world, there's zones, and you could just, it's just you could just walk in there, It's like it's just like, oh, zones. Like zones are basically different universes and stuff. Like Sonic travels through it, and then he went the wrong way and stuff, and then he transforms to a reverse uh, a zone, which is basically just an evil universe where everyone's evil and Dr. Robotnik is a nice guy. And they do that like early on, like issue 19, I think. Like he Sonic versus Evil Sonic. His name is Scourge, and but he was just called Evil Sonic. He had like uh leather jacket and sunglasses, and then like they find, and like it's 19, like it turned out like there's an more evil Dr. Robotnik who turned himself into a robot, a powerful robot, because um, the Freedom Fighters in that universe made themselves have robots so they could defeat him. But he's like, oh, I'm going to be, and then and then like that Sonic comes to the main Sonic, Archie Sonic. It's like we needed to fight him. He wants to take control of all other zones slash universes. He's like, okay. And then they gather all the Sonics, like different Sonics. Like you see Knuckles, you see Wolverine Sonic and stuff. It's pretty funny. But yeah, then they defeat him and then take different parts of him. Yeah, I know, like it's weird how the world operates, and like the history like changes, like or very early on, it's just like, oh, Sonic doesn't know who Sally is, he got dragged into it because of his Chuck, dragged into the Freedom Fighters because he wants to save his Chuck and his dog, Uncle Chuck and his dog, Muskie. But then it turns out he knew Princess Sally earlier. But like Princess Sally went for a lot of different changes. She had blonde hair, then she had a brunette hair, and then she got like a more lighter brownish reddish hair, and then that's where they stick with. So it's some, like they're like, you have to make an assumption that he did not know who Princess Sally was at that moment because of her blonde hair. And when she changed her hair to a different color, she's like, "Oh, I hope he likes this." Uh, yeah, and then they changed it, like in a dream, Sonic and Dr. Robotnik were like sort of siblings. Like Uncle Chuck raised Dr. Robotnik on like a couple weeks. And it's like he comes from a broken home, but then it turns out that's not the case. It was just a dream. But like they changed so many times. Like he knew Darth Vader like when it was more goofier and stuff. He's like, oh, my friend Darth would say, but and like different, like like early on, before issue 15, like no, well, before we revealed in flashback that uh he he betrayed the Overlanders, which is humans, but like they were at war with um the anamorphic creatures like Sonic, and like he betrayed them by going to their side and helping uh, King Acorn, because like early on in the early issues, he just like one day was like, oh, I'm taking over the world, and he took like chunks of the world, controlled chunks of the world. But then here it's like he planned to portray King Acorn at the right moment by taking Chuck out of the way, by making him self conscious, because like he tried to save his brother, which is Sonic's dad, but he accidentally got roboticized. They never explain how, but I bet Dr. Robotnik altered it because it was supposed to heal him, but instead it turned him into a robot. like Dr. Robotnik had like like one of those like old like British mustache, and and also his name's Julius. It's like I'm no longer Julius, I am Dr. Robotnik. Yeah, and turns out his name in that in the comics is Julian Ivo Robotnik. And he changed it, like he sent uh King Acorn, Princess Sally's dad, into Zone of Silence. He lost his mind. Like, uh, in later issues, they brought him out and he's like crystallized, and it's a whole story where Knuckles had to get a sword. He had to like versus like witch and stuff, and the sword's supposed to lead to the crown. The force Fortunately, like after they faked the fight with the Chaotix, like the sword was stolen by this elfin dude. He's like, I want to control the world because I was here and this Chaos Emerald gave me immortality and I want to control back. He said that in front of the Chaotix and he just left. But then like the second time when they were battling, no, so they couldn't save Princess King Acorn. I mean, Sonic went into his mind, and so he's only half. So they have seen like, but then like turns out like a short thing of like I'm back. It's like how can you be back, father? It's like I'm back. Like whoa, but it turns out it was a scheme from Dr. Robotnik. Oof. Okay, now we're in the end game where we're at the last three issues. And it's called the End Game Saga. I mean, yeah, like, but first, like, it was called like I don't know, it was called Sonic Stuff, and it was a narrative mini series. There were also a mini series for like all sorts of games, like Sonic 3D Blast, and like Sonic Spinball, but those don't matter. They shortly followed the game. Uh, but yeah, in the end game, uh, Dr. Acorn's out, like, and like they, and it's like, oh, Sonic's a traitor. You better go with him, Princess Sally. Then you could see, and then like, you know, on the mission, like, the rest of the Freedom Fighters see Sonic cutting Princess Sally rope, and then she dies. And then like Sonic gets in jail, and then he like go into this place he where it's like the baddest of the bad jail, and he gets transported. Like turns out they're like another traitor. Like Antoine thinks Jeffrey's a traitor because he claims to be a servant and a guard for King Angkor, but Antoine's like, no, he's not, because my father was, so he may be a traitor. And also, like, no, him and Bunny sort of have a thing. No, it's pretty obvious that Bunny likes Antoine. No, they kiss. Well, I mean, he got kissed on the cheek by her, and I'm gonna have to talk about the rest of the end game because it gets pretty crazy from there. So see ya, guys.